What's up, everybody? It's your favorite queen, Queen Phierce, and I have an amazing conversation lined up for you today. Welcome back to another Queen Crush Wednesday for this edition of Queen Phierce Has Spoken, baby. That's right here on the Queen Phierce channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you come across this video, make sure you like it so I know that you breezed on through. Leave a comment because you know when this premieres on Wednesday night, I am right in the comments with you, and we get it lit. We get it lit on the live, okay? And make sure you share this video if anything resonates. I'm talking with Chrissy from Philly Experiences today, and the conversation was lit. The energy was all there, and I'm happy to have met her right here on Queen Phierce Has Spoken. I only know her from social media. Well, didn't even know her before then, just knew the account Philly Experiences. But I'm glad that we were able to connect, and she is doing some amazing work here in the city. It is more than just tours, okay? It is an experience. So I want to encourage you to check her out, phillyexperiences.com with an S on the end. Don't forget about, and follow her on IG at Philly Experiences. And while you're at it, make sure you're following me. I'm Queen Phierce, Queen Phierce, Phierce with a PH. You can find me across social media under Queen Phierce. Okay, all right. And speaking of Phierce, are y'all feeling this hat? This hat make me feel so magical, y'all. I want to give a shout out to K-Tour Boutique. I did an amazing pop-up shop with them last week, and I manifested this hat. So I just had to wear it. I don't know what it is about it. It's popping, and it makes me look popping. That's what it is about it, because, I mean, look at me. Y'all like it? I know you like it because I like it. Anyway, make sure that you check me out after the conversation because I just want to bring you up to date with everything that Queen Phierce has going on for the month of December. We are busy, baby. Okay, so make sure you got your wine poured. Okay, make sure you got me up on the big screen on the TV. You can do the share screen thing, or you can just look me right up on YouTube. Queen Phierce, Phierce. And let me tell you something. I'll be in here just sitting back with my glass of wine. The fire be lit like I am watching the show. And I am, okay? Because I love getting into it with my Black magical queens. So sit back, relax. Let's get into this conversation. Chrissy from Philly Experiences. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite queen, Queen Phierce, with another edition of Queen Phierce Has Spoken. And if you can't tell today, I'm just feeling a little extra magical, a little extra special today in my purple with the gold brim. You know, shout out to K-Tour Boutique. I did a fabulous event with them last week for the holidays, a little vending event where Informations made a splash. So I'm grateful for that. And I have some other exciting things coming up. I will take that on at the end and leave the information down below. If at any point you want to visit those links, feel free. But I have my guest with me today already. So I'm just so excited to jump right into this conversation. Okay, because guess what? I don't know her from a can of paint. And we're going to get to know each other through this conversation. And I think that's what's making me so excited because she already has such a great energy. So I just want to say what's up to Chrissy, okay, from Philly Experiences. Like, we moving on up. Hey, Chrissy, hey.
Hey, guys, we don't know each other, so I'll ask this in the beginning. We're allowed to curse?
I'm just go on with yourself. You know what? When I upload the video, YouTube asks you, they say, is this a video made for kids? And every time I'm like, nope. We're not even going to pretend. I'm sure we can pull some nuggets for the babies, but everything ain't for everybody. So I want you to feel as comfortable as possible while you're here. And we're just having an exchange, just like we're talking in the same room. We face to face, we get in the know. And I want everybody else to get to know who you are too.
Thank you. Thank you.
So welcome. I'm so hyped. Why am I so hyped? I think it's the hat. Oh,
Child, it is that fabulous hat. The first thing I said when we got on, like, come on, colors.
I'm just here for it today. Okay, so let's jump in to the Chrissy from Philly Experiences. Where do I even begin? So let's just start with how I know you. I know I follow you on social media, and I see you doing some amazing things in the city that you create these experiences, but it kind of ties it back to the culture of Philadelphia. So I'm really interested to hear this story about why you even decided to do something like this and how you got started.
Oh, goodness. The layers and the experiences I've had in life that actually led to Philly Experiences came from loneliness, solo travel, and work. So 3 different places. I don't know which story to even get into first. I guess the solo travel. I took my first solo international trip to Barbados, 2007, I think that was. I don't even know what year it is now. And it was after a bad partying night in Philly, of all things. I went out by myself, like I typically do. I can't remember where I went, but the DJ sucked. They played a song that I knew let me know that they suck as a DJ. And I remember waking up disappointed the next day, like, oh my God, I'm so done with Philly. I'm so done partying here. Like, I want to do something else. I had vacation coming up, and none of my friends were available for vacation. Like, they couldn't take it because it was the week after Memorial weekend. And so nobody was available. And my job gave me these dates. I wouldn't have chosen if I knew nobody was going to be available. So I got a Google alert saying, ding, the flight you looked at to Barbados and many of the other places is going up $100. And I said, not if I book now. This is me, hungover on a Sunday. And I booked it.
Listen, sometimes you just got to do it. Yes. I say that all the time. If you don't do it, it won't get done.
Yeah, that plus a yoga retreat I went to I was given a note, like we had to write something that changed our lives and hand it to the person next to us. And I was given this quote that says, if it scares you to do it scared. That opened up my brain. Okay, like it pushed me.
Quote this weekend too. Yeah.
Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like, do it with a shaky voice. I grew up very shy, socially awkward. I'll put this out there for those into astronomy, a Capricorn. So we're inward more than outward. But let me find out where I have a fellow Kathy. Girl, when your birthday? This is why the energy immediately.
January 18th.
January 16th. See? Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. If it's your birthday, make some noise. If it's your birthday. Our season is coming, y'all. Don't be jealous. We done let y'all have it all year.
We already in pre-Capricorn season. So, yes.
Getting into it. And my conversation from last week when we were hanging out with Chef Farina, she's also a Capricorn. So,
back to back.
Yeah, little Capricorn flow we got going on here.
I love that. Yes, I don't come across us too many. I don't know if we deflect or what, but now we're attracting each other because Capricorn season is here. So then you understand my plight. And then, but a little backstory, I grew up with a Leo grandmother and a Cancer mom. So I struggled until I became an adult and I could figure things out on my own. And I knew I was responsible for me. So this day I woke up because of, like I said, a sucky night partying, planned my trip for the next week. And then I'm like, okay, am I really going? I just paid $600 for this flight. I guess it's happening. And I said, I'm just going to embrace it. Yeah, it's happening. So I'm going. I booked Airbnb. So I was happy to stay with a local. It was a private apartment, but I was happy to support a local couple there, a couple old heads. It was real cool. I ended up getting there and had a ball. Like I took every cute sundress I own, okay, and I did a twist out the first night I was there, and I was just walking and switching my way through the aisle like I am here.
I'm in Barbados every season is sundress season.
Okay, I didn't know that. I don't know anything. I knew it was hot when I landed. I knew it was like raining. It's just it was a lot. It was hot. It was beautiful. So it was the third, fourth day that my hypeness and my soloness like went away. I was like, oh, okay, like where's the people? I wish I knew somebody here. Dang, I wish I could have made a friend. I could have planned this better. I want somebody to take me to Rihanna's house. I didn't know they drove on the other side of the street here. Like I would have seen more of the island. Right. If I knew they drove on the other side of the street. So because of that, I didn't rent a car. So I walked and took local transportation, which I loved. But a sense of loneliness came over me and I still had a few days left. So I remember standing on their beautiful beach, pink sand, blue water, getting emotional. And I'm like, dag, like how do I connect with someone that's here? And I've been a photographer forever. So I took my camera with me. I was like hoping to set up a photo shoot with a random model. I was just doing random stuff, just taking everything to keep me not bored. And while I'm standing on this beach, I had an aha moment of, yo, there's probably somebody in Philly thinking the exact same thing. Yeah. I saw the steps. I saw the Liberty Bell. I went to the freaking museum. I did everything they told me to do in the list for Philly, but I wish there was somebody that was just a local that could just take me to Meekville neighborhood, or did Kevin Hart really grow up around here? Like somebody you could actually just be a friend with. So it was actually a lonely moment on a beautiful beach that gave me the aha moment of, I wonder how to start this in Philly. I don't know anybody. I'm not a tour guide. I never hosted events. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but life led me here.
I always say that some of the most beautiful and amazing things are birthed out of our own need for self-care. So it just seems like you really just took this moment of and honored what you were feeling, but was also like, what can I create behind this to even like support or relieve what I'm feeling? And it could be a support or relief for other people.
Yep, exactly. And since then it has, because it's taken off and expanded in ways I didn't expect. Like I just wanted to be something simple to do on the weekends, but now having the courage to make it an official business and letting the government know with the LLC and then going forward, getting contacted by nonprofits locally and companies. And I just recently partnered with Haverford College, and I customized a tour for a group of students because the Black professor of anthropology, shout out to Professor Henry, reached out to me. She found me and said, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. I'm trying to explain the effects, good and bad, of tourism anywhere. And you're doing a tour that talks about the trouble of tourism anywhere. And you're trying to be inclusive. And I said, yep. So we came up with something pretty simple, and I was able to get a group of 31 that day to my stomping grounds, North Philly, which we say with an F here, North, right, to the hood. That temple is taken over and has been taken over for years. Mm-hmm. And I like highlighting the beauty that's still there, the art that's still there, the people that's barely holding on. So that tour was very special, but all of my experiences are special.
So tell me more about the experiences, what they are or can be, how you curate them. Like, yeah, let's get into that. So somebody calls you and it's just like, hey, I need an experience in Philly. Like what does that look like?
Actually, I started this business with a good cheat code. I partnered with Airbnb first. That way, they're already in front of the tourists. As soon as someone book locally, they get an email saying, "Hey, now that you're staying with a local, or trying to do local, check out the experiences that locals are hosting." And
Yeah.
so I got away with that. I got away with not learning marketing, not getting out of my shell, really. Like, I just had to get out of my shell for the moments I showed up. And so I called myself a paid extrovert because I'm allowed to be shy all the other days I'm not working. And I just pitched the ideas to them. You were only allowed to pitch two in the beginning. And I took my photography experience to them because I'm like, I could definitely convince people who want to take pictures to do non-touristy pictures. So I did that.
Right.
And then I pitched a bar crawl. And don't laugh, but my bar crawl was originally called Chrissy's Dope Bar Crawl because I didn't know what else to call it.
I'm not laughing.
It got to the point. It was like, you know who you meeting, you know it's going to be dope because I said so, let's go. And then from there, From there, it upgraded and I renamed it Cheesesteak and Trap Music. And then people
Mhm.
really know what they were getting. And then, sales went up, more people came out, and we had a ball too.
That's awesome.
So that's one popular experience that I'm definitely bringing back March 2022. My hood tour is the second popular experience. That's called Morals and Murals.
Hmm.
Straight to the point. Well, the full title is Morals and Murals Tales from Our Hood, because we're going over both. We're going over the systematic effects on Black people, like what is happening in here, what's happened to my family. I talk about how gentrification has affected us personally, how we got uprooted and displaced from North Philly, ended up in West Philly and bouncing all over the city before I ended up where I am now, which is Germantown.
Hmm.
And the domino effect of that, and why no one thinks of that, because of greed and hatred. Really, that's to sum it up. And classism, I should say. So I love making sure I put the word hood everywhere possible, whether it's in a description of the company. I want them to know you're coming to the hood. And then I let them in their minds define what that means and then challenge the narrative when they get to me. I've
Yeah.
never had a bad experience in 3 years hosting thousands of guests and getting over 250 five-star reviews. Not once has anybody been shot, stabbed, robbed, beat up, no group fights, but like nothing's ever happened. Why? Because I take them to where I go as a single female, never had a problem. Because people come out on the weekends not to turn up. Like, they really coming to just chill, to relieve stress, to get away from stress, to not think about the work week. Like, people come out to have a good time.
Excellent.
Yeah, so my tours are simple. And then I've been trying out everything since. I had a soul food crawl that I failed at, that I'll try again next year. I'm now doing party buses. I had an X-rated game night that's popular. Like, there's nothing I haven't tried. So I just started trying different sides of my personality, turning
Yeah.
to an experience, writing it how I would talk to you, and attracting the people that understood what I said. That's simply what I've done.
I love that. And I'm trying to figure out how I can collaborate with
Oh,
this. Well, I'm your hostess with the mostest too. So if you
come
ever need
on,
something
Capricorn.
like that, I wouldn't mind. And when you said like the different kinds of events that you host, like the cheesesteaks and trap music, or the X-rated game night, like I have hosted like well, I do a lot of things surrounding poetry and art.
Aww.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so one of my babies is called 4P, People Poetry Potluck and Prose. So it's not, that piece isn't really a curated thing because we just been getting together for so long. It's just a thing now. Like, we
Yeah.
just do the, you coming over? What you bringing? All right, it's cool.
Yeah.
But that is that we're looking to, after the last 2 years, it's 20 and 21 that we had, and still be able to say like we are a group that was used to being in each other's spaces and getting together all the time, at least once monthly or whatever, to surviving through a pandemic where we weren't really able to see each other and going virtual and then personal things. And coming back, we just had our last experience of the year. And one of the things that I really wanted to know from the members was like, what do you want to see for 2022? Like, we done made it on the other side. We're still in the midst,
Yeah.
how can we grow? How can we get better? And so I have just been like growing in the area of exploring and investing in my art and just growing. I did a private paint party where I made all the canvases. I'm like, oh, this is dope.
Ooh, yes.
Also, pre-pandemic, I was curating an experience called Triple C Social, which is creativity, cocktails, and conversation. So it started out as just coloring, but people get together and we create. Do you want to paint wine glasses? Do you want to make jewelry? Do you want to color?
I
And then
love
we
that.
incorporate like the conversation piece into a conversation starters and games. And then of course with cocktails, where all that goes, child.
Yes.
So I feel like we could do something magical.
I love that. So we're
And
doing
it
the
helps
same
that I'm feeling
thing.
really magical in my magical head. So.
Yes. We can curate all of 2022 in this call.
right. We
We'll
can't
get
tell
two
them
passports
everything.
together. Okay. I love, so we're doing the same thing. And I feel like that's been the shift in general. Like more people are just stepping up to be the change they want to see. I'm building community, and the pandemic made me realize that focusing locally was just as important. Like showing the tourists a good time is one thing, but who do I have in my squad locally? Because I was going through many shifts that we have in our 20s and 30s and beyond, friendships coming and going, partners, jobs, desires, locations. Like there's so many people moving to Philly, I've learned. And so they reach out to me like, oh, what is there to do? Like, how do I connect with people? So being able to bridge that gap between the travel community, the newbies, and the natives who don't hate the newbies, because there's some that do. They're over the people that's moving here, driving up the rent costs, the gas prices, taking parking. I just try to put us all in the same place because we all coming from similar experiences, just being human in general. We're going through it. And I believe in women building and connecting more than anything in the world. I've always said it. I mean, how many times my friendships fell apart, I just always understood why. There was a communication issue. It was not understanding what we wanted coming in. We met because of a party, but never had a conversation of like, you want to be my friend? You want to be my friend? Check yes, no, or maybe. We never had those talks. And so we both
build those relationships like in the same way that you build your romantic relationships, and people just, oh, we're friends now. I had this conversation with my partner often because she says like, oh, this person is not my friend. Like they're just an acquaintance. And in my mind, I'm like, but y'all do X, Y, and Z. Y'all talk all the time. You y'all go out, y'all friends, right? But it goes to show that people have different ideas of what it means to be a friend and connect with people and how you build those relationships and what the expectations are. And I just feel like any relationship can be maintained as long as you communicate those expectations. And friendship is definitely at the top of that list.
1,000%. And then we don't cover the grief that comes with the expectations you had in that friendship. So these last few years have definitely been my spiritual trials. I feel like I'm going through a nice I don't call it nice because we're on camera, spiritual death of my old self and what I was used to and comfortable with and my limiting beliefs and going into this new phase. And this brand has helped me do that. It helped me live out loud on social media because if I didn't have a business, I wouldn't be on social media. So I had to like
Yeah.
learn to show up and be human and not worry about being judged because somebody's going to relate. And now you see on my page, I'm much more honest than I've ever been about everything that I've been through, the traumas that I've gone through. And for my hood tour, it's basically a 3 hour TED talk. Like I get deep. We know TED talks aren't 3 hours, but mine is because we go into gentrification. I talk about just growing up in a household of unhealed people and what that looked like, the sexual trauma that has happened within the family and outside the family at church. I talk about suicide. Like all this is on a tour. You're not getting this from no other tour that I've ever heard of in the city or outside the city. They're usually pointing to a building or a painting and saying, hey, this artist did this, they're known for this, take a picture, let's move on to the next thing. No, I actually weave my stories through the sections of the city and the murals that we go to and
Yeah.
connecting the dot of making it human. And so I have honest conversations with people. I get non-Black people who show up and they ask in conversations trying to understand our culture, which is important for me to explain it to them from my standpoint, 100%. And I do. And I don't hold anything back. They are well aware. They get a trigger warning when they buy their ticket that we're going to be discussing everything. This is going to be uncomfortable. This is a safe space to be uncomfortable. We're going to laugh together. We're going to cry together. We're going to inhale. We're going to exhale. Like this tour is giving you everything and SEPTA. And we know SEPTA has its own chronicles because
Right.
we take local transportation to get them out of an Uber and Lyft, allow them to see more of the city. So we're doing things ethically and responsibly while healing with complete strangers, which I don't think there are any strangers.
I love this. I'm hyped. Like, I'm ready to come on a tour. I'm gonna
Please
come on a
do.
tour and I'm gonna well, I'll take some footage and I'll like put it together for the people. Not like
Yes.
spilling all the beans or nothing like that, but like, hey, come experience this Philly experience.
I'm here for this. I'm getting more comfortable being in front of the camera. Please come out. Like I welcome guests to take footage of me while we're out. I'm okay with that. So please come out, grab a group of your friends. Locals, I'm explaining more and more, and I'm attracting more locals because locally, who do quote unquote touristy things? You know, like no
Right.
one local is going to the Liberty Bell after the fifth grade when you're forced to go on a school trip. We just don't go down there, or we don't feel no connection to it because there is no connection to it. It's just a gift from Philadelphia to Philadelphia. Like it's real vain
Mhm.
in general. But locally, how many of us actually stop and admire and look into the person who put up a mural? There's over 4,000 in this city. How many of us have conversations about what each neighborhood meant to us and our families? No one. So locals are absolutely going to be surprised. Yes, they know SEPTA, but once you get off, how many times has it taken you an hour and a half to walk 52nd Street? Never. But that's how deep our conversations get because there's a lot more to see than what our blinders has already told us what Philly looks like. So locals are actually coming out, which I love and appreciate. So please come out. There's always going to be something that
I love
surprises you.
that. I love that. And so I heard you mention that sometimes you do work with nonprofits. What does that look like? What does connecting with nonprofits look like? Yeah, just tell me more about that. I'm actually an organizer for a nonprofit, so I'm interested.
I love it. It's only been one nonprofit that reached out. They found me through someone at City Year, which is dope. And it's called Venture for America. They are, it's a fellowship program I found out that's really dope. And I wish we had it amongst our Black businesses. But to sum up what they do, they allow college graduates to come and shadow a business owner for 2 years and get paid to do it. Like,
Oh, cool.
hello, sign me up, because I've been knocking my head against the wall trying to figure out what this being an entrepreneur means. And they get paid to learn from someone. That's the cheat code. That's the one we've been looking for.
Right,
Like,
right.
that's it. So they reached out to me like, hey, we have some new fellows that are moving into the city. They come from all over the country. And we've been virtual all this time. They've never met each other in person. And we would love for you to show them Philly your way, being a native, and for them to actually to connect. So I had a group of like 30 something people, and putting 30 something people on stuff that didn't make sense. So we split it up into two groups. So it was going to be it was a double tour day, which I've done before. And so we split them up in two groups, and I was just 100% honest with them. This is what it's like growing up in Philly. This is what happened. This is the effects of gentrification. I talk about solutions. It's not a tour of just complaining for 3 hours, because what's that going to do? I talk about what solutions I think is needed, how people moving into the city can connect with the city better. Venture for America, they do a good job with that, especially if they're connected to city year. But just just more empathy and boundaries is what most of my stories encourage.
Nice. And so, what solutions do you think are necessary for Philadelphia in your perspective?
In my perspective, we talk about the empty lots that are in the city and the struggle with people experiencing homelessness. If there wasn't a struggle with people experiencing homelessness, why aren't these empty lots, especially the one at 52nd and Girard, not a community park, a community garden, a spray ground? Why isn't there a stage there? There's a mural there called the 52nd Street Theater by Jonathan Laydacker, and it's inspired by the bushfire. Why isn't something else there that's theater connected? That
Right.
park is just used by the lady who lives in the house right there. It's by her dog. That's a dog. It's a dog park. And it could be, and it's been there, it has to be for years. That mural is 2007. So you're telling me 13 years of non-community use, but there's new construction across the street? That's concerning. So
Yeah.
I'm worried that, all of the city in general, but 52nd Street is definitely being gentrified. Prices are going up. That they're just going to slap an apartment building there, and it's going to do two things: take away the opportunity for there to be a community space, A, that the city and the children needs, and then B, it's going to cover up the mural because the murals aren't protected. Once a lot is built, you can put anything there and they can cover the mural. They don't care how long it's been there. They don't care how long it's important to the neighborhood. It doesn't matter the location of the mural. It could be downtown. It does not matter. So I talk about that. Like, why not? How come this space isn't actually used for something productive? You say you care about the city, but it doesn't show in how the land is used. So yeah, that's one solution. A beautiful one to gentrification in general, which I already know why it's not used, or maybe it hasn't been thought of. But what if every person that sold a house for more than double the neighborhood average, that's how you know gentrification has shown up, when they just throw in some hardwood floors and some stainless steel appliances and call it a townhome instead of a row home, suddenly it's worth $397,000 near Malcolm X Park? How come the percentage isn't matched for the commission of the real estate agent to be donated to the local school or community?
Right.
What if they had to match that? If it's 3% on a $400,000 house, we can do the math. I don't know if I can. That's 12 grand.
12,000.
Every single house sold, they had to donate the commission match to the local neighborhood in like a fund.
Well, that is
What
a
if?
conversation.
Because you know what that would do?
I
Be
don't
a
even
tax
know
write-off for the developer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that means the government in turns pay for the upkeep of that neighborhood. And that's probably why it wouldn't happen. Why aren't you, if you're forced to move to the hood, which nobody makes these white people come here, Why aren't your kids in our schools? Why aren't you volunteering in our schools? Why are they bussed out to somewhere else? Why are you in our neighborhoods? When in Rome, be Roman, but when you come to the hood, you displace the people instead of embracing the culture that's there. They've been having barbecues outside for the last 20 years. Why are you showing up and now calling the police because they had the same barbecue that they always had every year? I was just recently told in West Philly, there's a bar that's there next door. White people moved in and now they've been calling, making noise complaints every weekend. And now the bar can't have a DJ because of their noise complaints. Are you kidding me? Like stuff like that pissed me off. You can probably hear it in my voice.
Been a bar
like,
for years.
The bar been there. You moved next to a bar.
You moved there when you knew it was a bar. The level of privilege, that privilege stuff really like when it get in my blood, like
it's in mine. My heart is racing. So that was Blue Sides. Take a moment, everybody listen and watch it. Because stuff like that, like if I move out to Ardmore, I'm going to be an Ardmorian. I don't even know if that's a term, but I'm going to act like they ass. I'm going to be suburban. I'm going to walk my dog, go drink my tea. Like, why are you moving here and then complaining about the natives? Why? There's so many other places you can go. Yeah, like you should have an issue with your real estate agent that sold you the marketing plan for this area. That's what you have a problem with. They told you, oh yeah, it's upper 20s, early 30 professionals. No, walk the neighborhood before you buy a house and get an apartment. Walk it. No one told you to stop by for 30 minutes and make a choice. No one. So that's the issue I have, and that's the solution. If they match it, two things could happen. A, it can go to the local schools and community centers. And then B, there could actually be I would think like a grant program for the seniors to not lose their home because of high taxes. They should be able to apply for a few years, at least 3, before they make that decision, instead of just suddenly losing their home. Give them a chance to process that they have to go somewhere else. And let them apply to get this grant that allows them to pay these taxes. They're on fixed income. Oftentimes their family is out being family, good and bad, and not really worried about grandma or think that grandma's house going to be taken like ours. And it would help her stay there longer if she wishes and chooses to. So those are some of the solutions I talk about on the tour.
Excellent. And do you mind sharing a little bit about your experience with your house being taken? Oh, look, here's Milkshake. Who's here?
It's not Milkshake again. Hey, Milkshake.
He always wants
now you leave.
I can't just be in peace.
Right.
Oh, God. I was trying to ask an important question, Milkshake. All right. Do you mind sharing a little bit of your experience about, I know you've referenced it a couple of times, your home being taken. What was that process and experience? And I mean, I'm just glad that you're on the other side of it. I feel like we hear these stories about gentrification. We see it happening right before our eyes, but it doesn't always touch. I know that I'll say fortunate where it hasn't touched me. I live like right directly outside the city, but just driving through neighborhoods where I grew up, driving through the neighborhoods where I went to high school. I went to high school in Templetown. So you know what that's like.
I call it in Templetown, that's north with an F.
North, right. And when they started calling 30th and Girard Brewery Town, I was like, what the is that?
Yeah, my tour goes over there too. We go down Girard Avenue to see how the neighborhood changes. That's a part of the tour.
Yeah.
In my case,
how it's extending now, Brewery Town, and the way how they just keep like. And I'm like, this is nothing like what I remember. So it's impacted me in like a social way, and especially in nostalgia. Because like if I want to go back and visit my high school, I'm like, this is not where this is like not even the same neighborhood.
I can't at all. I went to William-Penn High School, which is now a union training facility in Temple's track and fields. I don't even have a high school to look at. I don't have a middle school to take my daughter to school to say, hey, this is where I went to for middle school, because John Wanamaker was knocked down, and there's now two Temple high rises, three Temple high rises there, I believe, at 11th and 12th, there seems to be more. So I don't even have that choice. I have my elementary school, knock on wood, at this moment, but that's because it's 28th and seems to be more. I don't know where Kelly is, 29th? I think it's 29th. Um, so yeah, and I did also go to Bartram, and they ain't doing nothing out there in Southwest at the moment. They ain't gonna knock down Bartram, I don't think. But I didn't think they would knock down William Penn. So
I know, 'cause it like my heart breaks when I see like these big ass schools shut down, and I'm like, well,
yeah, it's like we don't need the school.
right. I'm like, I noticed it was like when West Philly High closed down. And I was like, I know West Philly High had over 3,000 students in it. And then they built the new West Philly High is only 2 floors. I was like, well, you can't even fit the same amount of kids in it. So where are y'all putting the rest of the children? I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
confused. But continue.
Yes. In my case,
I'm
it's
sorry.
twofold, unfortunately. Our childhood home, first we grew up in public housing before we moved into this house when I was about 11. This house, according to my mother, who I do believe, was bought and fixed up for us by my uncle Alfred. I'm definitely putting his name out there. And he owns a construction company. So he hired he brought his people in, fixed it up. And according to my mother, who I believe, it was supposed to be a rent to own scenario where for this many years, just pay us back what we put into the house and it's yours. And my grandma believed him. And my grandma being old school, just old school, she never put anything in writing.
Yeah, I took his word for it.
Yes. And then 10 plus years later, we're still there. My grandma's still paying rent. I'm 11, going through teenage years and dropping out of school, going to get my GED, going to the Art Institute. I'm out here just being myself, not knowing this because they don't share this with us. It, it wasn't until my grandma actually got sick and passed away that we realized we had to go because my uncle took the first offer on the house. The Temple boom was just starting. This is about 2006. And he just took the first offer and we had to go. He didn't give us no money to leave. He didn't give us anything. We just 30 days to closing, and this is when you'll have to be out by. So it's twofold. Someone showed up with a check, and instead of my uncle saying, hey, something's going on in the neighborhood, let me hold out. That would have been nice. He
Right.
said, oh, thank you. Bye, y'all. Y'all can go figure it out. And so we had to go figure it out.
Okay. Okay. And so what do you figuring it out look like? Because I imagine that was just like 30 days and I got to figure out where I got to live.
Yeah, 30 days of me only being 21, art institute student. All I wanted to do was keep up with my GPA and party every time I could. That's what I wanted to do. I was 21. Just wanted to be normal, see my friends, pay my cell phone bill so I could talk to my friends, and that's it. I had no other responsibilities really. And
Yeah.
so that looked like your world turning upside down. I lose my grandmother, who I've had my entire life. So as me, she was because she was a Leo. She also was an enabler. So she had a very stark contrast way of raising us. So I had to mourn that. Um, Moving into a new home, we only found this home because of a friend of a friend. I was the only person that was resourceful at that time. Like the whole dynamic of my family is I have two very sheltered sisters and a sheltered mama and a sheltered brother. And I was the only one, I was the third child. And I was the only one actually out there in the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was the only person that knows someone. Thankfully, I had this guy. He was fixing up a house that he just bought in West Philly. When I say fixing it up, it was barely livable. So I feel like we was paying to squat there, basically. And so we went from a 3-story, 5-bedroom, 1.5 bath house in 4 blocks from Temple near 19th and Montgomery to a 2-story, 3-bedroom, much smaller house in West Philly near 58th and Market. And so that was an adjustment, all of us sharing rooms, and just trying to make this new place a home as best as we can. I mean, the landlord, he was dope. I can't think of his name, sorry. But everything I gave him, he did turn around and put it back into the house, like trying to fix it up as best he can for us. But it didn't matter because we was only there for a short period of time, less than 6 months, when that house caught on fire. So
Oh,
now we're homeless. So I went from losing my grandmother to losing my childhood home, second part of our childhood home, to now trying to make this new home a home, and then we losing in the fire. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, they don't think about what happens to the people after they leave. So I had to experience being homeless here in Philadelphia at 22 when I should be in my prime. I have to worry about what does that mean? Like, I mean, all my friends, of course, they're like, oh my God, you can just easily come stay with me, come crash with me. They all welcome me in. But unfortunately, I was raised with the grandma that's like, family over everything, family, look
right,
out for
right.
family. Yeah, her son was the first one to kick us out, the first offer he got. And so I stuck with my family. I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave their side. No, I'm going to stay with them. We're going to figure it out together. And they couldn't take in a group of, what is it, 6 of us? Yeah, me, my 2 older sisters, my mom, my brother, my cousin, 6 of us. None of my friends had room for 6 people. So
Right.
I stuck it out with them. And that was the first time we was actually forcibly separated. Like, me and my 2 sisters went into a women's shelter. And then my mom, my little cousin that we was taking care of at that time, and my brother went into a family shelter up in the Northeast. So now we're separated and trying to do the best we can. I was working. I still went to work. I think I only called out one day. Like, I had to get back to work to feel normal. So I went right back to work. Um, and I actually got lucky. Like, my experience being homeless, I was fortunate because the shelter was just a women's shelter full of dope women. Like, I walked in with my bag and they're just like, oh, sweetie, why are you here? And I told them, and they're just like, oh, life happens. You lost things, but you didn't lose people. You still have your life. Like, they poured into me that night. And
Yeah.
because of that, I was able to sleep in a large room full of bunk beds with people I didn't know easily. They just like lock up your stuff because people steal. But other than that, you looked out for it here. And I believe them.
Hmm.
Um, so that wasn't bad. And then my job felt bad. And they actually put me and my family in a corporate apartment that was attached to my job. So I was actually able to live rent free at my job for a while before I moved into my first apartment.
Lessons.
Yeah. It was still scary though. You just don't
Yeah.
know. Like, fast forward now, just imagine the concept of not having anywhere to send your Amazon packages.
Right.
Something that small, like, so yeah, I've been fortunate. I've been very fortunate.
Well, I'm glad that you trust this space and were able to share this story with us. It's an amazing story of perseverance. I mean, I feel proud and honored that you.
Aw.
But and I wasn't expecting. Like I said, we getting to know right here on the air. So I'm just like, sometimes I don't know like what asking a question is going to lead to. But I feel like I just went on
Mm-hmm.
a mini emotional roller coaster. Like, oh shit, child. She said she was homeless. Like, why just
I
is
know.
that? But listen, I'm glad that you're here today and every day, and that your family is safe. And I mean, we go through things just like those women told you. You lost things, you didn't lose people, and everything that we go through is built to is designed to build us into the people that we're supposed to be, who we are, and have to realize that we are. If we didn't have these experiences, we wouldn't be who we are, and therefore couldn't give of ourselves in the way that we give of ourselves. So I'm grateful that you shared that with us today. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I'm this honest on my tour. This is the stories that I tell there to let people know so they can see the realities, and that's not even touching the personal family stuff I was going through. That was the overall, this what happened at 22. So all the stuff that happened before 22, it complicates a lot of things. So
I'm sure. I'm sure. So to shift gears a little bit, what kind of experiences do you have coming up that people can participate in?
now that we are walking back into winter, aka Capricorn season that begins and ends the year. I've been experimenting with virtual experiences because connecting doesn't have to end because we don't do it in person. I love being outside in all weather. It doesn't bother me personally, but I do love the idea of just being able to hang out right here in my living room in my pajamas and being on a virtual call with people. And I've been intentionally targeting women, A, because I understand just the value of the friendship, B, uh, the loneliness and depression. And I feel like people and just the solitude of the pandemic last year made me switch to do more things virtually and
Yeah.
in person. I used to have morning healers, which was my gentle stretching and guided meditation pop-ups here in Germantown. And so right now I'm just connecting with people virtually. So my X-rated game night is actually available as a virtual version. I've
Oh,
done private birthday parties. So I help connect people who are not in Philly. Like this woman reached out and celebrated her birthday with me and her friends all over the country. And that was dope.
that is
My
dope.
Yeah, my guests, personally, I thought I was going to find more people in Philly. My guests, my most favorite X-rated game night edition was guests from Canada, the UK, Atlanta, Texas, Baltimore, and Philly was on the call. And I was like, what? It's wild. So because of the work I've been doing with the tourism industry, like my reach has become global. That's exciting and intimidating. And so it's just, I don't know what's going to happen, but virtually, definitely party bus experiences will be coming by the spring. I was going to do something for New Year's, but I don't feel like it's going to happen. I've been feeling burnt out. Right now, I'm going to do like a
No, yeah.
cleansing phase.
Like a good time for a little reset,
Yes.
do some planning and just outline everything and honor all the things that you've already done.
Yes.
Sometimes we like push and push and push and just like, oh, I have to produce, I have to do this. And nobody is really, well, I'll speak to myself on behalf of myself. Nobody really puts that kind of pressure on me but me. I
Child, I
create
know.
deadlines and put them in my calendar and like you're supposed to be doing it and it's like who said you supposed to be doing that? Did you check
Damn
in?
Capricorn brain.
So the grace in that is that I have learned to really honor my mind and my processing and my body and a word was given to me by a close friend to focus. So it's like I'm the type of person like I get a lot of downloads, like I get a lot of ideas, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I'm gonna be doing this, and I'm writing, and then I start assigning myself stuff, and it's just like. She's like, why don't you just put all your energy into one thing and just see that thing all, all the way through
Mm-hmm.
and then let that thing ride and then move on to the next thing. Like, why do you put all this pressure on yourself? And so that just gave me a lot to think about. So this time of the year is a really good time to be reflective on the things that you've already accomplished and done and
Mm-hmm.
produced and reset, so you can be who you need to be all the other 11 months out of the year. Child,
Yes.
'cause I wouldn't sit down if my body ain't tell me.
I'm the same way for multiple reasons. And I am thankful that January and most of February, because it's cold and snowy, that I always used to just really keep things real light anyway. So I'm not really bothered by that. I am still doing public hood tours from now to the end of the year for some people that want to come out, and they're now 50% off until the end of the year for
Ooh.
guests that want to come out. They're every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You are responsible for your own SEPTA key card, but it's a souvenir that lasts 3 years, so you can keep that if you're not a local. But outside of that, yeah, after that, you'll probably catch me virtually. You'll see me out in the streets. You'll see me at somebody else's party. I'm still going to be out connected, but yes, I am going to be resting. 2022 will be huge. Like I'm getting a lot of messages and phone calls and working on sponsorship because that's needed locally, so I can give you better events and have more people come out. I like the intimacy of it, but it's going to grow. I plan on
Yeah.
hiring locally for other people who want to tell their story. I want to hire second chance citizens, those who have experienced homeless, if they want to tell their story in South Philly. I want to West Philly only tour, North Philly only tour. I have a new tour. It's an Instagrammable art walk for with the murals in the city
Oh,
for
cool.
content creators. Yeah, I want to focus more on the murals because of the changes that's happening in Templetown. So I want
Yeah,
people to enjoy them while they're there because we don't know how long they're going to last. So just stay tuned.
I know. I'm super excited about that. I'm about to go on and book me some tours right now. Meow. Okay.
Damn.
And so I'm just glad that you were able to come here with us and have this conversation, this bomb conversation, this great energy exchange. I'm grateful for that. How can people book the tours? How can people get in contact with you?
Now that I'm official, y'all can find me at Philly Experiences everywhere. Make sure you put an S on the end. So phillyexperiences.com is how you directly book a hood tour every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Unless it's a private tour, then you can contact me. They're available 7 days a week because I know there are conferences and people are traveling whenever they feel like it now.
Mhm.
Any virtual experience, you can DM me directly if you want the virtual game night. I can do a non-X-rated version, but what's the fun in that?
I'm like, why would we even want that?
I mean, all of it's education. You get to learn about yourself, your friends. It's all safe spaces. The coworkers, whatever. It's a few other things I'm working on that I'll speak on later. I'm on Instagram under Philly Experiences. That's where you'll see me acting up, whether I'm twerking or cussing somebody out politically, or having my opinion about something, or you can see what I've previously done. Clubhouse, I'm on there under 215 experiences because they wouldn't let me use all the letters. I do have a club there, Philly Experiences, that I'm going to be hosting more. So we can have long conversations about whatever. Like, I have so many topics to go on. And if you find me anywhere else, it's by accident. I'm not really on Facebook. I'm not really on LinkedIn, but you can probably still send me a message on there. I'm more
Right.
active on Instagram.
Okay, I got it. I mean, well, you'll be hearing from me, and I know that you'll be hearing from the people now that they know where you at and what you about. Chrissy, I'm so glad that you were able to come and have this conversation with us. I'm super excited. I already got the email plans in my mind that I'm going to send you, so we can get
Yes.
things popping for the 22 because I'm here for it and everybody knows it. Okay. Thank you. Just an abundance of thanks.
Aw, thank you for having me and trusting me to come on. You never know what's going to come out of somebody's mouth that you haven't officially met. Like we met the second before you press record. So I appreciate you.
Right, right.
Just being the queen you are, especially now I know that you're Capricorn. I get it. I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay.
And,
When is we going for our birthday?
right. I'm figuring that thing out right now. It's a milestone birthday for me. So
Really? First of all, my birthday is all the time now. Like, I'm so thankful and grateful to be here. Who can tell us that every day isn't an anniversary of our birth? So
I
my birthday is whenever there's a birthday song on. So if we out this
yes,
weekend and somebody play a birthday song, I'm like,
me
yes. People
too.
like, it's your birthday
My
again. But like,
favorite
yes.
song, my favorite song is actually the birthday song by Two Chainz. That's actually
Exactly.
my favorite song. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
That's what made no, we definitely connected because that song A led me to the strip club for my birthday that year. And then B made me realize how important my birthday is. So no, that two
Yeah,
chain songs, I get it. I get it. The
can
worst
listen
one
to
is
it
shine
all
a
the
light
time.
on them,
Yeah.
but
All
that's
right.
okay. I like the pressure, but I do it to my guests. Like for my bar crawl, I used to make up somebody's birthday every bar crawl. Just because, just to embarrass them, and just because. So I love that. So we'll
Just
definitely
the
connect.
turn up is a little different when you know it's somebody's birthday. And if it's not
Thank you.
somebody's birthday, then it's your birthday. Like,
It
you
is.
already know.
Yep. I surprise somebody all the time. I miss doing it. I can't wait to come back. Everything next year, it's gonna be epic. Every day is epic.
Every day is epic. I love that. That's gonna be the quote for our show. Every day is epic.
And thank you.
Thank you. So I will talk to you soon.
Look
And
forward. Thank you, Queen.
I know. Thanks, Chrissy. Talk.
Bye.
Wow. Did y'all have a good time? I had an amazing time. Thanks for joining us tonight on Queen Phierce Has Spoken. I hope that you liked, you commented, you shared, and you subscribed because we gotta keep it going. Oh, you see Milkshake saying hey? I think I think he had a good time too. He was trying to co-host during the show. And now he try and get a cameo. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me and catch you up a little bit on what's going on with Queen Fears. So I told you about the amazing pop-up shop I did last week. I also did handmade holidays over at Barsham Gardens with the affirmations. Okay, so if you have not checked out affirmations, make sure you check them out. They're on my website, queenfierce.com/shop, or just go to queenfierce.com if you want to check out everything that I got going on. I mean, everything. um, but yeah, and so coming up on Friday, December 10th, we have a Kwanzaa celebration, or I have a Kwanzaa celebration with the Barnes. So I will be posting that information in the description below. So make sure you check that out. I'm a featured artist at the Barnes Kwanzaa celebration coming up this Friday, December 10th. And I'm also a featured artist with the Kwanzaa celebration with Philly Black Pride on December 26th. So amazing things happening and maybe a couple of things in between, okay? Also, make sure you are checking me out on IG Live every Thursday with The Decent Show, D the Comedian, everywhere you see her. And we go live every week at 8 p.m. and we talk about current events and resources. It's an amazing show and you get that live interaction, right? So that's what I like about it. I like to connect with y'all, and we got a lot happening right here in the city of Philadelphia and beyond. So thank y'all for joining me. I'm always amazed that y'all be checking for me. I love this. And I love y'all. We winding down, y'all. 2022 is almost here. I feel like I just started talking about 2022. And I had to like unwrap my mind around the last 2 years. I cannot believe the way the last 2 years have really just flown by. 2020 and 2021 were interesting times, to say the least. I learned a lot about myself and went through a lot of transition, but I would like to say that we're all still here and we're all persevering and growing in our own ways. So I want you guys to hold on to that as you walk into 2022. I want you to hold on to the fact that you're not just surviving, you're thriving, you're moving forward, and you're finding ways to continue to build and grow. And I'm proud of you, and I love you, and I'm feeling that for myself. So I know that it is happening and it is true for so many others. So I'm sure we'll have a couple more conversations before 2021 is over, but I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that we are still here. 2020 is out of here. 2021 is almost a wrap. There are things that you can do and get done before this year is out, so don't count it out. We still got a few weeks left. Give it all you got, but come through 2022 and knock that door wide open. I'm proud of y'all. I love y'all. Have an excellent week. I'll see you on Queen Phierce Has Spoken on the next Queen Crush Wednesday. Mwah.